Hello, Degrassi fans, and welcome to the Degrassi Kid Podcast, where each week we break down the history and impact of our favorite teen TV show. I'm Jocelyn, and this week we're talking to Degrassi fans who have created a Degrassi musical. We're joined by Audrey, who is the creator of this project, and Capri, who plays someone very similar to our beloved Manny Santos and Paige Michaelchuk. Today we'll talk about the fan reaction to this Degrassi musical, which of your favorite Degrassi moments made it to the stage, and we'll find out what makes someone such a big Degrassi fan that they would create and star in a Degrassi musical. Audrey and Capri, welcome to the Degrassi Kid Podcast.
Woo!
I was telling you, I am so excited. The minute I saw this announced, I literally have thought about it every single day since. I've even looked up flights multiple times to see if I can make it happen. And even though I can't come see it, I'm so excited that I get to pick your brain about absolutely everything.
Yeah, absolutely. You have been so supportive from the beginning, so thank you so much.
I am obsessed with people who are obsessed with Degrassi, so
Same.
Works out. The first thing that I would love to do is just hear your guys' Degrassi story, specifically how you first interacted with the show. I mean, it spanned so many years, so many generations. Everyone has their own unique story. Audrey, I'd love to start with you. You're the creator of this musical. When's the first time you ever interacted with Degrassi?
So in the US, it was on Teen Nick, I believe, and my friend would just have Degrassi on every day after school in middle school. And we would never actively watch it. I would just see it from the corner of my eye and be like, there's something happening here. Mesmerized, but from afar. And then it wasn't until college when I just was entranced by Degrassi. So I watched it kind of as an adult, which I think really shaped the way I viewed it. And then yeah, I was just obsessed. I would call my mom and she'd be like, what's the hot goss? And I'd be like, well, you'll never guess what Paige did today. And I'm clearly still obsessed.
The rest is history. I love that. And Capri, what's your first moment with Degrassi?
So I had two older sisters. So I remember watching it with my two older sisters, and they would they switched to Vampire Diaries very, very shortly after. And I was just like, no, I need to know what happens with next class. And I just kept watching over and over again. And I was just really obsessed. I have a specific memory of watching it at my grandpa's house, and he's like an older conservative man in North Carolina. And I remember watching it, and it was like a conversation about like virginity, and he was like, "You're not supposed to know what that is," and I was like, "I know everything." So I think I'm similar with Audrey, where it was I was more of a delayed. Like I watched it after the hype kind of happened, but then it became a core part of my identity.
That's incredible. And I find it so amazing how many Degrassi fans are American. Like, you would think if a Degrassi musical was going to get made, it might be a Canadian who takes the charge. Why do you think it resonates so well in the US?
I mean, I think it was on all the time on Nickelodeon. Like after school, it was like prime time. And going from like middle school, which, you know, is like, we were like 12 to 13 being like, this is scandalous. And it on after it being on right after school made us feel like we're cool too.
I love that.
And so it's just like a core part of growing up, I think.
100%. I think also, I don't know if it's the same for a lot of people, but for me, it was like the first like soap that I ever watched, like growing up. So I think that's probably why it hit so hard for our American audience, because it was like the first one that we've ever really seen. So it was like, yeah, we were obsessed with it because it's the drama that we need.
That makes so much sense. And I know you guys had the Manny's abortion episode in Canada played as normal. And then in America, it's now this secret episode that you can't get your hands on. I remember.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in 2000, the original broadcast of Manny's episode was banned in the US. It played later on like one of those Teen Nick when they played it all the time. They put it back in, but originally it was banned. So kids were like downloading it on LimeWire. They were getting their Canadian friends like record their TV. So then, of course, it's going to be way more scandalous, right? Teenagers are going to be like, I need to see that episode. So makes sense. It's maybe a little more scandalous in the US than up here in the North.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I had one of our original cast members when we were just workshopping the musical, like just doing a table read, and we did like a live table read of that was like the first thing we did. He came up to me and I had never met him before. He was a friend of a friend, and he was like, I'm so excited for this because Degrassi was like the first queer character I saw on TV. And he like fully resonated. He was playing the queer character in the show, Degrassi the Musical. And he was like, I'm so excited to be playing this character because this was the first queer representation I saw. We just didn't have a lot of that. I mean, no one had a lot of that. But Degrassi was the first thing targeted towards kids that had representation like that.
I love that. Okay, that story impacts me because the reason I am a huge Degrassi fan is it's because it's the show that helped me come out of the closet. It was the first time that I had seen a character, it was Fiona Coyne specifically, where she went through those like 2 years of like secretly being in love with her best friend and like can't figure out relationships in high school. And then she just says to her mom, she says, "Mom, I'm in love with her and she's a girl." And it like clicked so well for me that all these problems I was having in life was just because I was gay. But it wasn't that no one told me it wasn't okay to be gay. It's the fact that no one was talking about it at all. So I was like, I have no idea what I'm going through. There's no one else like me out there. And then they put Fiona on TV and she came out of the closet. And I literally, the night that episode aired, came out to my friends and family as a lesbian. And then now I'm obsessed with the show for the rest of my life because I'm going to go off for a second. I love Degrassi. But I found out that it was created by a school teacher who also had a gay best friend who couldn't come out. And the fact that she was making these episodes because she wanted to help kids like me is the thing that hooked me into the show of, I want to find out everything behind the scenes. Why did they do an AIDS storyline? Why did they do the abortion storyline? Why did these matter to people? And then now I meet Degrassi fans all over the world who have those special little connections of why they love the show too. So that's why I'm hooked for life on Degrassi.
I love that.
Not special. Okay, let's talk about the musical. Because I can talk forever. Everybody's already heard my story a million times. So like we've been there. I'm wondering if you can give me a quick introduction into what is the Unauthorized Degrassi Musical.
Yeah, so it is kind of, we're not pulling directly from Degrassi. It's not like an Emma Nelson story, but each character is inspired by several characters. When I first had the idea, I sat down and was like, what are the tropes that Degrassi plays with each generation? There are like, there's a queer character, there's a jock struggling with anxiety or whatever. So I kind of broke it down very two-dimensional. And I said, okay, what are all the characters that kind of fit in this? And then created the characters based off of that. So we kind of follow Gemma based off of Emma.
Love that.
And we see her first day at Degrassi, and she's very naive and hopeful and thinking Degrassi is going to be very normal. One of the first lines she says is, this is going to be a typical high school, and it's, in a normal high school in Canada. And then quickly she learns it is not going to be the case. And all of the characters kind of come in a Les Mis style, warning her of the dangers of Degrassi and how it is not going to be what she thinks it was.
I'm Gemma. Today's my first day at Degrassi High, a totally normal high school in Canada. I'm a dork with a passion for environmental rights who will experience disordered eating for one episode. Flash my chest for feminism, and I marry a guy I only interacted with during one science fair. But for today, I just hope my jock big brother writer will show me the way.
This is incredible. How many times so far have you already performed this?
So we did like a workshop table read, and then we got an audition at UCB, Franklin, which is like one of the big comedy theaters here. It was just half of the show. And then from that, we got picked up, and we're doing a full run right now at UCB, which for them means 2 full performances. And then based on ticket sales, we'll get more performances. So we've only done 1 performance of the full thing, but it was crazy. I mean, Capri can tell you. We days before we were like 45 tickets sold, and then suddenly day up, we oversold the house. 90 was selling out and we did 120, and people were like asking my mom on the street if they could buy her ticket, and it was kind of wild.
Awesome. Oh my God. And you weren't expecting that. What were you expecting the reaction to be to this? The ticket sales are now open for a Degrassi musical.
I was hoping, I mean, I've been in this industry for a really long time and throwing spaghetti against the wall all the time. This was just my fun passion project that was just like a side, supposed to be fun thing. And I don't know, everyone has been reacting so well. We created a TikTok like a week ago, and the audience has already found us. And I was expecting to just kind of be like any of my other shows, having like a lot of supportive friends and family, and hopefully some fun audience members who like comedy, but this was like so much more than I expected.
That's incredible. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about the plot points in the musical, and we'll hear a little bit more about what it's like to act in it. But I want to go back even further. How do you come up with the idea to do a Degrassi musical in the first place?
I don't know. I just had the idea. I think comedy is so funny when it's something so dramatic as a musical. I've had other ideas for like very dramatic musicals before that are supposed to be comedies. Because when I was watching Degrassi in college, like I said, I would call my mom and tell her these very two-dimensional plot points, portraying it in a two-dimensional way. I thought it was so funny, and I was like, how do I heighten this? And I love musicals. I went to college to get my BFA. I didn't get my BFA. I ended up doing comedy instead. But I love musical theater, and I just thought this would be funny. And even in college, I wrote like a sketch posted on YouTube. It is not good, but about Degrassi, because I was like really trying to work out my feelings about Degrassi. And then about 5 years ago, I was doing a show at Second City Hollywood, and I just kind of like developed this idea with one of my co-writers, Jacqueline Uwe, who helped me write the lyrics for Degrassi, the Unauthorized Musical. And we kind of just sat down and were like, what are some basic plot points? And I don't know, it just kind of happened. It was just something I'd been ideating for years, and now it has come to fruition.
And now you've made it. Oh my God, it's like, okay, I have to see that YouTube video. I need to know the origins of this musical.
It is not good, but I'll send it to you.
I need to see it. I need to see it. Okay, and then Capri, so there's this Degrassi musical. How did you get involved with it?
Okay, wildest thing. So my dearest friend who plays the role of Ryder, who was like a Drew and Sav kind of, he's like the student body president, that kind of guy. Adam Keller, who's an amazing comedian and musical theater person, is in this lead, and he's like, come to my show. And I was like, what is it? And he's like, Degrassi. And I was like, there's what? Where was this call? Where was this call for this show? What are you doing? And he was like, it's a friend of a friend. I don't know, just come see it. So I'm seeing it. And I'm like kind of pissed because I'm not in it. But I was like, I want to support you because I love you and I love this show. It's going to be awesome. And I watch it and I'm like crying because of all the references. And like, it's just making me cackle. And then he's like, oh yeah, we're needing a new person for Ivy. So I was like, send my materials over yesterday, please. And then he did. And then Audrey was nice enough to be like, yeah, you could do this. And so I did it.
God. That's incredible. Okay, so you had the experience of getting to watch it first, saying, I want to be in this. And then they put you in it. It's the dream.
Exactly. Like it's so not real, but it happened that way, and it made me so happy. Yeah, I'm
That's
so
incredible.
Grateful.
That's what we all want with Degrassi. How amazing would it be to meet the creators? And they're like, just come in on the show. We'll just have you on it.
Literally is what it felt like. Like it was so funny because I didn't expect it to be written, because I mean, you have to see it. Audrey has written such a funny show. Like you don't expect it to be like a parody of it, because it's a parody of it, but also like it's so there's so many Degrassi specifics.
Yeah.
So whether you are someone who watches a lot of Degrassi or doesn't watch a lot of Degrassi, like you're gonna find it funny. But if you do watch Degrassi, you are going to like explode because there's so many quotes and like little elements from the show that are put in it. So just watching it was such a joy as someone who loves Degrassi, and then being able to be in it was just like the coolest thing ever. And and Audrey was so open to allowing me to like be like, okay, I know this is this line, but like in this episode, Paige says this. Can I say this? And Audrey's like, yeah, if Paige said it, say it. So it was just so fun to work with someone who like also loves the same thing that I like. So it was really cool.
That's incredible, because there's a difference between parodying something to make fun of it and parodying something as a love letter. And how amazing that you're also, the actors also love this enough to be like, actually, we should say this.
Well, and it's so funny too, because even the actors who got in, like my friend Adam wasn't a huge Degrassi fan, didn't really know about it, like that much about it until he got in it. And now he'll be like, oh my God, I cannot believe this happened. And I'm like, I know, like we'll just like be texting about the show. Everyone has the bug now. It's really fun.
I love that. I'm always very proud of people who can convert others into Degrassi fans. We need to be a bigger community, and you're making it happen.
Yeah, join the cult.
I love it. We talked a little bit about how you were introduced to Degrassi and, the two-dimensionality of the characters, but what is it that makes you love Degrassi so much that you would both create a musical about it and act in a musical about it? Audrey, we'll start with you. Why do you love Degrassi so much to do this?
I think it's so wild. It's just a wild version of kids television that took us as kids seriously. Because I grew up watching soap operas like Dark Shadows and stuff like that. And I love like the over dramatic and all that stuff, growing up in musical theater and all that stuff. And this was like the first TV show that catered to that and took me seriously and met me where I was at as a kid. And I love that. I love now, having been doing this musical, doing tons of research and learning about the creators and reading Linda's book and listening to your podcast and everything. It just gives me such a greater respect for the Degrassi property and how intentional it has been, and it makes sense. But yeah, I love a show that can, meet me where I'm at and not shy away from like the abortion episode or, very serious things have been so well done with Degrassi.
I love that. I agree. I love that it's a show that it's a show that wants to be there for me, but it's also hilarious. Like, and it has its real moments and its funny moments. Like, it's such a well-rounded show. It's not just a drama, a comedy. It's a show that makes you feel like you're going to high school with your best friends on screen.
Absolutely. And I also think I think especially coming from a primarily comedy point of view, like I just watched the episode where Dave is talking to his ex-lover, and then she out of nowhere gets hit by a car. And I think it shocked me so much. I just screamed alone in my house, and I was like, there is no TV doing that. And I love that they do that.
I love that too. That's Jacinta. What an incredible moment on that show.
Incredible.
Capri, what about you? What is it that makes you love Degrassi so much that when you watch this musical, you're like, I have to be in this?
I think, as like coming from a comedy perspective as well, there's something about stakes and stakes being so high in a show that makes it really fun to play. But I think Degrassi did such a good job of towing the line between you could either watch it with the perspective of this is so real and this is like so heavy and hard hitting, but you could also be like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, why are we one of my friend's favorite lines from the show was like, oh, and like Holly J, when she's getting her kidney removed, she's like, yeah. And also my surgery is happening the day of prom. Like, just so like, and like from the perspective, it could be like, oh my God, it's the day of prom. No. And it's also like, what? Like, what are we doing? Like, and it just moments like that where you just know the writers had so much fun. And it's the same amount of fun that we're having in the space, like finding like one of the moments where we know that this is the funniest thing, but we have to be so in it as a team and be so serious right now. And then with the added element of like, you can hear the audience crying because it's so funny, but because like, no, we're in the real solid, like it's happening now. Like you just have, it's such a fun dichotomy to play with of like, when is this actually funny and when is this serious? So just as an actor, it is such a fun reward. And also, we haven't talked about it yet, but the music is I'm a musical theater performer. That's my background as well.
Yeah.
So the music in this show is so beautiful, and also it's quite technically challenging. So when I remember hearing it the first time and being like, oh, because I only saw the first act. So I saw the first 30 minutes, which leaves on a really funny like cliffhanger. And then one of the leads points up and it has the to be continued, like at the end of every part one episode. It's so good. But I remember being like, wow, the music in this is actually really, really good. And so it was really fun for me as a musical theater performer to be like, I am doing this show that is so fun and fulfilling as a comedic and dramatic actor. And then also it's musically challenging and really technical and playful. So yeah, I think it does such a great job of highlighting the show, and it just made me want to jump in so much because I felt it was so authentic to what I was seeing on screen. Like it takes itself seriously, which is one of the things that I love about Degrassi, that it takes itself seriously.
I love that. I always think about something like Peter's meth addiction because I think about like people I meet in real life, right? Like Degrassi taught me good people do bad things. Good people can get addicted to drugs. They're not a bad person. And my frame of reference is the Peter meth episode where he's only addicted to meth for a weekend. He's running around the middle of the street. So like it's totally changed my perception of like people I care about can get addicted to drugs and this is how you can help them.
Yeah.
But also that's a hilariously crazy episode to cover meth addiction. So I totally understand that line of like, it's a serious show, but like, it's also hilarious. Like Peter's addicted to meth for 2 days and his whole life has changed from it.
For like just a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. That makes me want to know, what was the decision to make it a musical and not just specifically a play about Degrassi?
I think musicals heighten things. I feel like Degrassi's already so heightened. How do you take it to the next level? And I think musical is the only answer. I have a sketch comedy background, improv and all that jazz. So I was like, I very much could have done that. And I've done plenty of sketch shows before, but I was like, the only way to heighten it is, I think, through music. And our composers, Sam and Tony, they did like this incredible job of, taking the music so seriously. And I think I had early on in the writing process, I was like working with my friend Chloe Schneider, and she composed one of the songs in the musical. And she was like, well, the music has to be Les Mis. It has to be, we have to feel like we are fighting a French Revolution, but really we're doing homework. And I was like, oh, that's the hook. That's why it has to be a musical. So she composed that first song with me, but then the rest of the music was composed by Sam and Tony, and Jackie and I, who was my co-writer of the music. We basically gave all very serious musical references for the music. And I think it has made it, so much more dramatic. You are forced, it's like these characters are being forced to sing, and they just have a song to sing about their addiction or puberty, getting a boner, whatever.
That is incredible. And I think Degrassi fans across the world have always wondered, why is there not like a musical Degrassi episode? So I think you are giving us what we've always wanted to see in this show.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm curious if you can break down the characters for us. Can you give us their names, kind of a brief idea of maybe who they relate to or what they're going through in relation to the play or the musical?
Yeah. Well, I play Gemma. Gemma is kind of like a Liberty, Emma, Claire combo.
Oh my gosh.
Like I said in the beginning, it's her first day of high school. She has an older brother named Ryder, who Capri was talking about, but she is just kind of like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and going through her first day at Degrassi. She likes environmental rights. She makes a comment about flashing her chest for feminism and then going through an eating disorder for a week. And then during the show, she falls in love with this boy named Ace, who is based off of Eli, primarily Eli, but a little bit of Zig as well, who is the poor bad boy and drives a hearse, obviously.
My name is Ace and I'm misunderstood. I scare off people with my dark attitude.
Incredible.
But they are not compatible. And so Capri's character, Capri, do you want to talk about Ivy, Maddie, and Sebastian? Because Ivy, Maddie, and Sebastian kind of take Gemma under their wing to say, you got to assimilate to the ways of Degrassi.
Yes. Okay. So Ivy is our like Paige, Manny, Fiona. She's rich. She's hot. She's kind of mean, but she's also a good friend to people she likes. And she helps her best friend, Maddie, who is like kind of an Imogen, I think she's, like 90% Imogen, navigating, like realizing that she's pregnant and the whole, like a whole bathroom moment where they have like the pregnancy test, which is like every single season they have like one girl who gets pregnant and realizes in the bathroom. And then we have Sebastian, who is our Marcos. And and we already talked about Ryder, who is your brother. Yeah, everyone has a little bit of flavor of like a couple of different characters. I think about like a sun, moon, and a rising.
Mm-hmm.
So Ivy's a Manny sun, a Paige rising, and a Fiona coin moon.
I love that. That clicked for me so well. That's my moment where I'm like, I get it. That's my French Revolution moment.
Yeah.
Love it. And why these characters? Why this amalgamation? Why pairing those together? Why was that the choice?
So when I was first blue skying this whole thing, dreaming about what it could be, I wrote down a bunch of tropes that I see every season on Degrassi. I have seen all of Degrassi, but I really started rewatching and really doing research of like, okay, what kind of happens every season? I think one of the things that I also love about Degrassi is like, I'm obsessed with the structure of it, just the way how each episode, like A story is so intense, B story is so intense, and then it just kind of concludes. So I'm like, okay, what stories are very common for each season? There's always some sort of drug or alcohol addiction. There's always a hot girl. There's always a quirky girl. There's always, a dangerous bad boy with black hair and things like that. So I was like, what is most common within all the seasons, and how do we show representation through all the seasons? Not so much like before next class, but like that and beyond. I even included like the new version of the next class, I guess, the Netflix series. And so just kind of like trying to be generous to each season and each character and trying to get like the most popular storylines and plot points from all the seasons. And I think because the characters, Manny, Paige, and Fiona aren't very, the same in Degrassi, but like they do have core characteristics that are very similar. So how do we represent that, and like which ones can like group together the best? And that's kind of how it came to be.
That is so cool. Okay, I also saw online that you guys posted a suggested viewing guide. Can you tell us what those episodes are and why those are the ones that you would recommend watching if you haven't seen Degrassi before?
Yeah, so Weird Science is the one where Spinner is doing Emma's science project and he keeps getting boners in school. And there is a song referencing specifically that and the last song of the first act is called In the Red, and it's like a teen puberty kind of song. And the boys sing about their boners and the girls sing about teen pregnancy. And so like there's like a specific the full first verse of the boys singing is kind of directly taken from Weird Science. It says like, I've been eating fruit and granola. It's increased my appetite. It references like being, the lunch lady potentially giving them a boner. So it's like a direct reference hold for that verse. And then the other one was, I think
You Got the Look.
You Got the Look is Manny's blue thong. Just so iconic. I feel like if you're not a Degrassi fan, that's like a great place to start, is seeing that fashion transformation. And it says so much about, I think, the way the girls are portrayed on that show. And then, I don't know, the blue thong is like so iconic, I feel like. And I feel like you have to just know that as a Degrassi, as anybody, any fan level of Degrassi. And then the last one is the twincest reference. I'm so obsessed with it. When I rewatched it, like, within the last 5 years, I screamed. I was like, I can't believe I didn't remember this.
So wild.
It's so wild. It's so funny to me. And we do have a couple references to that in this new iteration of the full show. There's like a reference to Ryder and Gemma potentially being together, and Gemma's like, no, we're siblings. And they're Maddie, Ivy, and Sebastian are like, that's okay here.
Oh no, that's incredible.
There's a lyric that says like, Fia and Declan shared a kiss. The last song of the show is for the Degrassi fans, and that's kind of a lot of the clips I've been pulling for TikTok, which is like just chock full of references of a lot of the dropped storylines. And in that, we reference the Fia and Declan kiss, and it's just, I don't know, I'm obsessed.
I love that.
So
See,
funny.
I feel a lot of shame because Fiona's my favorite character, and I'm going to bat so hard for someone who kissed her brother. So every time someone mentions that scene, I'm like, she's my favorite character except for that. I did not relate to that. That did not help me in my journey.
He's like, and after I watched that show, like that night, I just went over and I kissed my twin. Like I just had to. That was like my moment.
Made me realize I'm in love with my brother. Thanks, Degrassi.
Thank you, Fiona. Wow.
I love that. Yes, exactly. I'm glad you get it. Okay, so we have an idea of the musical. Before you've even put this play on, what did people think about the fact that you were gonna make a Degrassi musical?
I think most people I knew didn't know what Degrassi was. Like they knew I was obsessed with it because, again, like I said, I'd call my mom and say, this is the hot goss in my life. And I would force my dad to watch it and my sister to watch it, but they kind of just were like, whatever. I think they were just, to be honest, when I really hunkered down and start writing this about a year ago, I'm a writer. I was really affected by the WGA strike. I've been out of work for a while and I was pretty depressed. And so that's when my dad was like, you need to put on a show. What are you doing? You are the stage. So I think mostly like friends and family were really excited that I was going back to the stage, which is kind of my roots. But yeah, I think anyone I told there was going to be a Degrassi musical, they were like, and they were a fan, they were like, wait, I don't believe you. I'll see it when I see it. But yeah, I think that was kind of the vibe. No one really knew what I was talking about.
Oh my gosh.
So funny. When I would tell like my people, I was like, I want a Degrassi musical, the response I would get was like, who are you playing? Who is it? Who's the girl? And I was like, her name's Ivy. She's like Paige and Manny and Fiona. They'd be like, great, this is great. And then especially with like the costumes and stuff too, when I would post on my social media, I would get DMs from people like, I knew you'd be Manny. I knew it. And I'm like, wow, actually my son been rising. But yeah, it was, it's so funny. Well, it's because I feel like Degrassi is one of those things where it's like, if you like Degrassi, if you're unless you're like one of us three, like it's not like a defining personality trait, but I've been surprised by how many people were like, oh wait, yeah, I love Degrassi. Wait, you're doing that's so cool. And I'm like, why haven't we talked about this?
Yes.
So it's been fun, like how many people are like outing themselves now as Degrassi fans.
Yeah, I know it's something that's so silently loved because I will meet people all over the world who love the show and they'll be like, oh my God, I've never met anyone else who liked the show. And I'm like, you have. Everyone likes the show. No one just talks about it for some reason. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Okay, we talked a little bit about how you had helped in changing some lines, but I'm curious, you go from writing this play by yourself to now you're performing it with other people. Are there any examples of the way that the musical changed once you started getting feedback in more of a collaborative setting?
The basis of the script somehow didn't change that much. I've been kind of on and off working on it for 5 years, so it was pretty set in stone. However, when we started with this new cast for the full run, the chemistry between all of the performers this time around just clicked so insanely. And there were moments where like, because I also directed, I have an assistant director as well. Her name is Yeliana, and she's been amazing and she's great. But we blocked the show. And so there was like moments, there's a lot of improvisers in our cast that were, they started improvising as their characters and like being a little more confident in the actual characters and bringing their own things to the table. Like Capri said, she brought in lines like "that's disc roasting" because Capri is one of the biggest Degrassi fans in our cast, which has been amazing for me. And then like one of our characters, Ace, who's like the bad boy, he never watched Degrassi before, but then he started watching it more and more. And then he came up to me and he goes, well, I think Eli would do this. I'm like, yeah, please.
I would feel so proud. Right. That's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like this cast has brought, and Capri is also really amazing at riffs, and they choose the most gorgeous moments to just do a little riff. And somehow it is more the character than I could have ever dreamed. So like each person has kind of brought in their own personality and like heightened it in a way. So like dialogue hasn't changed that much, but the chemistry and then the way the performers are performing things has made the show like 10 times better than I could have dreamed.
You guys are so cute. I love this. I love how it seems, even just from watching on social media, it just seems so fun. Like it feels like people are just showing up to have a good time and do something that they love instead of it being like a job or something that's like you have to show up and do this. It just feels so passionate, so full of love, and it really radiates in what I've seen so far, and I haven't even seen the full musical yet.
Yeah, I mean it's so fun. I think it's become a thing because everyone's like really committed to it feels like there's a thing like in comedy where you have to be committed, and that's why I think Degrassi translates so well. Like you have to be committed, but also with this it's like you have to be committed, and also like the character is committed, you playing the part is committed, and also you as a human are there knowing this is so absurd. So there are moments like there are Chow, who plays Ace, who's the Eli character, sees Gemma, who is Claire, right? And like immediately there's like this sexual tension there and love. And so the first thing Chow did, and like he just ended up finding this like as we were teching, is like he pushed a chair that was in between him and Gemma, and then Sebastian, who is the Marcos character, was sitting in between them, and then he push Marco and he goes and just like flies back in his chair, and like there's no reason to do that other than it's gonna make everybody crack up. So like then me and the girl who's playing Maddie, she's the Imogen to my Fiona, are like looking down like in our fake notebooks, like trying not to laugh because we know this is gonna happen. And it's just like it just has become such when we're rehearsals or whether doing the show, we're like laughing for like a couple of hours because it's just so playful and so funny.
I love that. I love hearing specifically what happens in the musical. And I'm curious if either you have a moment that is your absolute favorite in the musical or one that gets such a big audience reaction that you couldn't even expect it. And I'll start with Audrey. Favorite moment or favorite audience reaction?
So I guess this is one thing that has changed, actually. The one thing I did add to it, in the first time we did the show, when we did like the live table read, there is a scene that I wrote, and I very much wrote it as a placeholder scene because I thought it was very stupid. But it's Ace and I, and Ace asks for a croissant, but he asks for it in a French accent because Canada. And I reply with "I'm sorry," like Canada. And so it's just like this stupid accent bit. And it went, again, placeholder, stupid joke that I was like, this is dumb. this isn't what everyone says about Canada. Everyone lost their minds, and then I had to write a second version of the scene because people wanted it. Like,
Yeah.
And so I will say that was like a really big surprise to me. And also very, I was like honored that people wanted to see more of that, and which was like such a stupid one-off joke to me. But yeah, I ended up having to write 2 full scenes of this stupid accent joke. But the audience really does lose their mind, and it makes me laugh so much. And Xiao, who plays Ace, him and I went to college together, so it's like so much fun to like play with each other on stage. And like Capri was saying, we just like to make each other laugh on stage, the whole cast, and we just are playful and fun. And so that's like a moment where I can really just look in his eyes, and we just like do this insane physical and accent bit. And so yeah, I think that's probably like a real standout. I mean, I have so many favorites, but if I had to pick one.
The Canadian moments. I love that. Okay, that makes me feel special. As a Canadian, that makes me feel seen. Thank you for putting that in there.
Good.
Capri, what about you? Standout moments, standout audience reactions?
I think anytime we really drop a Degrassi reference, there's always like, it was so funny when we performed it in July. On the left side of the theater was like a group of women wearing like their Degrassi Next Class t-shirts. So anytime there was like a Heather Sinclair dropped or something, this side of the room was like losing it. So but in terms of specifics, there's this one moment where Sebastian, who is the character that's based off of Marcos, comes up and is like, no, Dad, like I'm not gonna take, my dad wants me to both be a hockey star and like take over his job as a used car salesman. And like, it's just really funny and silly. And Maddie, who's based off of Imogen, comes up and she's like, I can tell you're having a midday crisis. I don't know if this is going to help, but I made a sock puppet and it kind of looks like you. And it has Marcos's goatee on it and his like little puka shell necklace. And then our actor who plays Maddie, there's like character name, actor name, other names. She's hilarious. She, while Marcos's character is like doing his like having a really hard time and monologuing about this, she's in the background moving the mouth puppet, like the sock puppet, to him talking, and it is the funniest thing. And it was like, it's just something that she just decided to do, like while he's talking, she just has a little hand up with this puppet just moving, and I can't look at it because I'll cry. And I think it's one of those things where slowly people realize that she's doing it, so it starts like a and just builds up. Oh, that's really, really funny. There's also a moment in our final song where we say, Spinner was a graduate, then he dated a minor.
Spinner was a graduate, then he dated a minor.
And then with the choreography was, then he dated a minor. Everyone kind of shakes their head, no, like no. And that usually gets a really big laugh as well. But what's so fun, I think, just being in the show is there are things that make me laugh really hard. And things that I think are just kind of like, oh, I just do like this like little silly thing. Like I've decided that Ivy talk sings a lot. And I think it's because she wants to be really sexy. And the sexiest person that she knows is Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. These are the sexiest women in the world. And so she talk sings and it usually like sounds like a baby because that's like what she thinks is hot. And so I just started doing that. And it like people think it's the funniest thing ever. And I'm just like, this is just like a silly, stupid thing that I think this character does. But I think that's the really fun thing about being a part of a show like this, which goes back to why Degrassi is such good source material, because the more committed you are to the authenticity of this character, it can't go anywhere but absurd, and absurd is just so funny.
Oh my God, I love that. Every time you tell me one more, like the sock puppet, I need to watch the show. I just need to commit to getting on a plane and going to see it. That sounds incredible.
I want us to stream it. I really want us to stream it and just have it available, because it's just, I mean, I have people who are like all over the world being like, I need to watch this thing. Like, where can I find this thing? And I'm like, come in a week, you know, come in 2 weeks. Hopefully you're one of the 120 people we can get in the room.
Yes, hopefully it doesn't sell out. I know. What if I got on a plane and then, oops, tickets are sold out?
Oh, we'd get you a ticket.
Yeah, we'd get you in.
You'd sit on stage with us.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
I would love that. Okay, we've heard what makes the audience laugh. The musical wraps up. What's the feedback you're getting from people who have seen your musical?
It's been amazing. Like, what an incredible fandom. We had a video on TikTok kind of blow up, and I mean, the fan reaction has been insane. So many people from TikTok are buying tickets to come see the show, which I did not expect. And it's just been incredible to connect with people like you. And there's a couple other like nostalgic, fan pages that have been reaching out and been like, this seems really cool. And so that community has been so welcoming and so amazing. So yeah, it's been really wild connecting with strangers about something that we all love.
I love that. Okay, and what about you? What's the what reaction have you been hearing from it?
I mean, it's so, I think because it, like, I think genuinely really good. There's a lot of good musicals, a lot of really good comedy shows. I think, like, I haven't seen a lot of really, really good comedy musicals that like make me like cackle, but also are full of like really talented vocalists.
Yeah.
So I think that's been the big, and I'm sure they exist. I just haven't seen them. I've been getting so many people who saw the last show or clips of the other shows being like, oh wait, this is like a show. This is like a show. Like this isn't like a, like, we make jokes about being like, okay, so like then we're gonna go on tour, we're gonna go to Atlanta and Chicago and then like opera, like that's been like a bit we've been doing. But like honestly, it people, I think because the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is a big comedy theater in LA, usually is for more sketch comedy and more improv, having like a full-fledged musical with like 6 songs in it and choreography and like strong vocalists and also strong comedians. People are kind of shocked by how, in better words, how good it is, because it's a good show. So I had like friends like it was so surreal and so sweet. Like we finished the show and then my girlfriend was outside, so I was like, I gotta go see my girlfriend. So I'm like running to go see my girlfriend, and like me and I forgot who I was with. I think it was Adam, who plays Ryder, like opened the door and everyone's like, yeah, like outside the theater, like people were like waiting and like screaming. Partially, yeah, because our friends and family, okay, don't judge, but also because the show was a good show and like people were out there for like a good hour just like talking and hugging and being like, oh my god, this was my favorite part, and also being like, I have to come back and see it again, like when's the next show. So I think the reception has just been really fun, and I think it's just because like it's kind of like lightning in a bottle. I think it's just a really great idea that's been really well done, and it just makes me so excited to keep doing it.
I love that. I really want to see this succeed because I've seen a bunch of Degrassi projects, fan projects that have popped up over the years, but you can tell that this musical has a lot of love into it. Like even the care that's going on social media, the clips, the little graphics you guys make are so Degrassi coded. You can tell that it's made by people who really admire the show, and it feels like a love letter to the show. And even though I actually have not even seen it myself, I really would be so proud to see it continue to grow because it's such a testament to this show and this community and the fans of the show who just love this thing, that seeing people who love the show make something so special and see it become so big is something that would make me feel proud to even be in this community with you guys. So I'm championing for it. I hope it goes over the world. I hope you get your tour. I hope you get your world tour.
Us too. Thank you.
Degrassi the World Tour. Yeah, and I think what makes it so special too is because like it's a passion project. Like everyone who's in it is, you know, we're not like making a lot of money or any money doing this. We're not making any money. A lot. Why was I being? We're not a lot. We're making, you know, some. No, we're not making anything doing this. But like we love it. And we all want to do it really bad. So it's like, okay, well, we like a 5-hour rehearsal before, a week before the show, just to like get things solid, or a couple days before to get things solid, and try out new bits and see if we can do like a quick change or whatever. Like, yeah, we're all going to show up and do it because we love it and we want to be here. We want to make a good show together. So I think that's what make it really special for me, that it really, it's a great quality piece. It's a beautiful piece, but also it has, like, this is a passion project and we really want to try to make this happen because we love it. And then also it's the quality of like a really good show, like a really special show. And so I think that's what makes it really a really compelling piece to work on, and also for our audience to see, because it's like you can feel it, like you can feel how much we love the show and how much we love making it and how much time and energy we're willing to put into it just for the fact that we love making the show. And that's, I think, why it became such a special thing for us. And then coincidentally, and what has been amazing, is that it turned into something that other people really like to watch.
I love that. I know you can feel the energy, and I'm so happy that I've been able to talk to you and ask you these questions, because now I just am even so more bought into this project that you have. But the question I want to know, has anyone from Degrassi recognized your musical or seen it?
No. I to be honest was scared because I'm like, first of all, I know it's a property people love so much, so I kind of wanted to see if people liked it first before reaching out. I was also a little scared because I'm like, can they sue me? But they can't. It's all original and it's very much a parody. There's laws about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just recently I finally, like on our most recent I posted a video about the binder boner shield part of a song I was talking about. And I did tag Shane Kipps. That's his name, right? Shane
Yeah.
Kipps.
Shane Kipple. Yeah. Shaney Kipps.
Kipple. That's it. His Instagram thing is Shaney Kipps. So that's how I see his name. No response yet. But maybe as we grow.
I think it'll happen.
want Monroe Chambers. I want Monroe Chambers to show up, and I want him to have the cane that he had with a little skull on it.
Maybe he'll drive the hearse there. He'll drive it on stage for you guys. He'll come out and make an entrance.
I have to say that's the bit for me that keeps on giving. Like that was the first thing that made me laugh when I watched the show, and that's the thing that's made me laugh every single rehearsal. And I always look at Audrey, and I'm always like, he drove a hearse. Why did Eli drive a hearse? What? And then every time Chow, who plays Ace, like dingle dangles his little keys, is like, I'm Ace, I drive the hearse. Like it kills me every single time. Yes, it's just the funniest thing.
That's incredible. I'm rooting for you. I think as it continues to grow, you know, people at Degrassi are very good at recognizing fans who love the show. I really feel like you'll get your flowers from the Degrassi team someday. The future of this musical, what does it look like? Do you have any performances that are coming up? What are your hopes for maybe even like a year from now? What do you think the future of this musical looks like?
I mean, I genuinely think touring is the new dream. I was just hoping to get the show up, and now it is up. And based on the audience feedback and like talking to people like you, like genuinely the dream is to tour. I think right before we went on our show in July, we were all eating chicken nuggets. And then Maddie, her name is Monica, came up to me and was like, "We're taking this on the road." And I was like, and so it is. So I do think
so it shall be.
So it shall be.
You
that
need
is
to.
Genuinely the dream. I would love to make my money back, and I'd love to make everybody money. That would be really nice. I've spent so much money. But yeah, I think like taking this to the fans that are asking for it, taking it to New York, taking it to Toronto or Canada, like genuinely would be incredible. Yeah, our next show is August 29th at UCB. That's our next full performance. Before then, on August 23rd, we have like a half performance in Orange County. It's just kind of like a interim kind of thing. It's just the first act. It's just kind of a way to get our feet wet in Orange County and start our tour.
I love this.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of it. And then hopefully on the 29th, we'll sell out again and keep getting show dates and keep growing, and then to Broadway.
I know we need Degrassi, the Unauthorized Musical, takes Manhattan, takes Toronto, goes wherever we need that. We need the full tour. Okay, I have two more questions for you guys before we wrapped up. I'd love to take a moment to give flowers to everyone else who is in the production. Can you give me an idea of who's involved, even like the musical behind the scenes? Who's helped make this project possible for you?
Yeah, so I'm writer, director, producer, performing as Gemma. My name's Audrey, if so everyone knows. And then Jacqueline Uwe co-wrote the lyrics with me, and she also kind of blue skied, which is like we dreamed up what the outline could be so many years ago. But she also helped me finish the lyrics. Then we have Sam and Tony, the Sam and Tony Show on Instagram. They are the composers of the music. Chloe Schneider also composed one of the songs. We have Stephanie Avila, who was the choreographer and is incredible. She's just like a friend I had. And she was like, I think I could do that. And she's an amazingly talented girl. Then we have Yelena Afanasyev, and she is my assistant director. Tony Gonzalez is one of the composers, but he's also our musical director. And then we have our cast. We have our amazing Capri, who plays Ivy. We have Monica Mandapat, who plays Maddie. We have Xiao Long, who plays Ace. Adam Keller is writer. Richie Mike is Sebastian. And I think that's the team.
That's incredible.
Tony also kind of plays like Snake a little bit.
Yes.
That's so cool. Is he like a principal role?
He plays like the teacher, and the bit is, because I think it's so funny how we'll be in such an intense scene and then cut to a teacher, and then the students will be like cut back to my drama. So his whole bit is he'll start saying something, and then a student will cut him off and say, I'm actually going through something. And then the teacher will turn back to the board and go like math, history, whatever. So defeated. But yeah, Tony Gonzalez, our musical director, also plays the teacher.
Oh my God, I love all these like little references that you're getting in there. That's incredible. Okay, the very
It's
last thing
fun.
that I want to hear from you guys is this sounds like a passion project, a love letter to Degrassi. What, as a Degrassi fan, what has it meant to you to work on this project? And Capri, I'll start with you so we can end with our creator on this episode. Capri, what has this meant to you?
Oh man, I think, I mean, not to get too much into the weeds of it, but like I'm a queer and ethnic performer. Yeah. And for me, like it just excites me to be a part of new work that is geared towards like a generation that isn't always specifically like older white men, because a lot of musical theater
Mhm.
can feel like this is made for old white men. And a lot of those musicals are legit and they're great and they're beautiful, but to be a part of new work that is feels more geared towards me, work that has more nuances and work that is ultimately this is a comedy show, but like there are things in it that still make me feel like heard and seen. Like I love playing with the fact that like it's not written, but I 1,000% have added in that like Ivy is like in love with Maddie, and that's the whole thing. That's like the bit that I play in every scene is how much I'm in love with my best friend, but like I'm never gonna tell her, and I'm mad at her for being obsessed with this guy. And it's confusing because it's like, oh, is it because I want this guy or is it because I want my best friend? Actually, I'm just pissed because you're making me feel things and I hate you and you're a bitch, but come over tomorrow. Like that kind of energy. And so it's fun
Yes.
to be able to explore these things in this character. And it just means a lot that it's also coming from like a show that I loved as a kid. So feels like a little inner child thing is very happy working on this project.
That is so beautiful. Okay, that's a great answer. Thank you, Capri. Audrey, what about you?
Yeah, top that, Audrey.
Impossible. Um, no, yeah, this has just been, I've worked really hard in this industry for a really long time, and this was just like a fully from the start joyful project that I could keep leaning back on a property I really loved, and that was so funny, and it's kept me sane through many issues, through the industry, and it's kept me grounded. Finding a community that's incredibly supportive has kind of meant everything, and a community who genuinely lifts me up, with not only just my creative team but the audiences. We had like a old man at our last show say that he hates musicals, but he cried so hard, and like it pulled at his heartstrings, all the teen songs we were singing and how hopeful it felt. And I just feel like it feels insane to be able to gather a community of people like Capri who bought two velour tracksuits just
Good.
because they're passionate. It feels really amazing to have a bunch of people support my dream and become part of the dream and take on the dream as their own. So yeah, it feels really amazing and quite unexpected.
I love that. Well, I'm very, very proud of you because Degrassi, I mean, it hasn't released a new episode in 8 years. And now you are someone who is, both of you together, the team, are championing new Degrassi content, creating new Degrassi fans across the world. I am hoping to good heavens that someday I get to see this musical, whether it's going to see it in person or putting it on a streaming service where we can buy it. I'd gladly buy it. Either way, I have to see this musical. It sounds amazing. And thank you so much for being a guest on the Degrassi Kid podcast.
Thank you so much for having us. You've been so supportive and amazing, and I'm so excited to just meet you.
Oh, I'm excited to meet you. If there's anything at all that I can do to help you with your musical, promoting it, whatever, I will gladly do it because I know I haven't seen it, but I'm a champion for it. I'm a champion for it. Like, this is my favorite musical just because it's Degrassi, so I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to do this. It was so cool to meet you. And again, I gotta go. I gotta go at this point.
You
I
gotta
gotta make it
go.
happen.
Yeah.
I'll get on a
You
plane.
gotta.
Okay. I got to. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I'll keep in touch.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Degrassi Kid Podcast. If you'd like to stay caught up with Degrassi the Unauthorized Musical, you can find them on Instagram and TikTok at Degrassi the Musical. And of course, before we go, we want to say thank you to our Patreon subscribers who helped make this episode possible. Today, we're saying thank you to Jolene, Amber, Angelica, Nicholas, Sarah J, and Shannon for being standout members of the Degrassi Kid Patreon, and Evie Piscini for editing this episode. And a thank you also goes out to Alyssa, Alana, Angie, Becca, Brittany, Katrina, Chantel, Christine, Chrissy, Christopher, Daniela, Darcy, Dave, Degrassi CSI, Emily, Eugene, Gina, Jackie, Jess, Jamie, Joe, Joey, Catherine, Kat, Casey, Kennedy, Courtney, Kristen, Crystal, Kylea, Lindsay, Lizzie, Lizzie Games, Mackenzie, Mike, Megan, Mina, Nessa, Rachel, Racine, Randy, Rebecca, Renee, Sarah, Sawyer, Shane, Sam, Sierra, Sanita, Stephanie, Taylor, Tierney, Zach, and Nixon from the Degrassi Generations Facebook page. I recommend you join and check them out. I hope you guys get a chance to see Degrassi the Unauthorized Unauthorized Musical, and thanks for tuning in to the Degrassi Kid Podcast. Love you. Bye.